I should have trusted my first instinct about that free couch listing. The moment we dragged it inside, little things started feeling wrong. Doors we knew were shut, lights we never touched, a faint tapping sound beneath the cushions. And when I finally checked what was hidden inside the couch, that's when everything quietly shifted into something I wasn't ready for. We brought home a free couch, and inside it was a tiny card with weeks of video showing people in our apartment. The Facebook Marketplace listing said, "Free, must pick up." We needed a couch, so I messaged. The guy lived a few blocks away. He said his neighbor was moving and left it in storage. When we hauled it into the truck, the upholstery smelled like old smoke and rain. I laughed and did not check much. We got it inside and started cleaning. The zipper stuck. I pushed the cushion and felt something hard. A small rubber seal like a tiny camera bag. I said, "Weird." My partner said, "Maybe old photos." I pulled out a micro SD in a little rubber case. I laughed but felt odd. Listen, we plugged it into my laptop. There were folders and files, weeks of video. At first it was boring. Someone else's living room, a cat that slept in one chair. Then a timestamp made me stop. Night clips, a door ajar, then a clip that matched the night I had left the trash in the kitchen. I remember because the kitchen smelled worse than usual. The camera angle was low, like under a couch, aimed at our hallway. It showed our door open while we sat inside. It showed a stranger walking through our K. There were months of clips, people in the stairwell at 3 a.m., a person at the mailbox with a hood, a woman on our balcony crying and stuffing a small bag. File names had a name and an intersection we did not know. I called the police. The detective's face was tight. He took the card and said quietly, "Do not post this." He said it could tip them off. He looked at the timestamps and said the footage matched a string of local break-ins and a missing person report. He said the posts for free couch across the city could be a pattern for moving between places. He would not say more. Wait, we changed the locks and then slept in shifts. I learned the sound of our floorboards at 2 a.m. I learned how my partner made fake breaths to show he was sleeping. We watched the door like guards. People told us to sell the couch. We did not. The couch became a half-lit thing in the room, like a quiet witness. It gets worse. The seller's marketplace account had dozens of free couch posts in different parts of town. Every time someone messaged asking about a card, the post vanished. A message would appear and then quickly disappear. The police kept some files and left others with us. One clip showed someone open our bedroom door, slow, looking at the hallway light switch like they were checking something. Not loud, not running, normal. That normal walk is the one that makes me feel most exposed. Checking the seller thread felt like picking at a wound. A message would say someone found a card, then vanish. It made me sick. This was not one person. It was a method. The detective warned us again not to share the files. He said they would follow leads quietly. Even without details, the town felt different. Neighbors watched porches. I locked the back gate twice each night. I checked couch cushions before sitting. Little rituals kept me from feeling totally helpless. Small habits change you. I avoid the left cushion where the card was. I close drawers careful, like hiding things that do not need hiding. I put my phone face up on the table so I can see if a message comes in. I watched our hallway recording and froze when I saw a face that had been in our kitchen the week before. I jump at knocks now. The cat runs and the floor creaks, and every creak sounds like a clock. I made dumb choices. We did not move. We thought police would sort it. I told people, moving is expensive. Fear makes you do odd things. Months later, the posts are gone. The seller is gone. The files sit in a folder on my laptop that the police would not release. I open them sometimes, not to watch the worst part, but to make sure what we saw was real. The worst part is not the footage. It is that someone decided our nights were worth saving on a tiny card, hid it under a couch, and tried to hand it off. I keep the little micro SD card. I take the trash out now because it feels like control. At night, I leave the hall lamp on. I still touch the couch arm and expect a small camera light. It never blinks. I whisper the name from a file sometimes. I hum to the cat and tell the couch sorry. These small things help me sleep a bit. I still check outside, waiting, and sometimes wish we had sold the couch that day. I bought a puppy on Facebook Marketplace and later found the microchip matched a missing person bulletin. My name is Noah Mercer and I live in Portland. I saw the ad late one night while scrolling. The pictures were bright, floppy ears, big eyes. The seller said she had to move overseas and could not take the dog. She said the pup was vaccinated and microchipped. I messaged right away. Needed someone after my breakup, I guess. We met at a park the next day. The pup was smaller than the photos, but friendly. The seller handed me a vet report and a small card with the chip number. I paid cash and drove home. I named him Buddy. He slept in the passenger seat and snored a little. Weeks passed and Buddy settled in. He chased squirrels, barked at porch lights, and learned my step to the door. One evening, an older neighbor stopped me and tapped his collar. She squinted at the chip number and said, "That looks like a police bulletin number." I laughed a nervous laugh. "No way, I bought him myself." Listen, I checked the registry that night. The chip showed multiple transfers in the past 2 months. An old address, a rescue, then the seller. The dates overlapped weirdly. I called the seller. She sounded cheerful and said, "Must be a mix-up. I got him from a friend." She hung up. It gets worse. I called animal control. A volunteer said the seller pops up on Marketplace often. Estate cleanouts, she said quietly. Family moves, pets get grabbed, people re-chip and flip dogs fast. Hearing that made my stomach drop. I felt like I had bought something taken carelessly. That night, Buddy paced and whined at the front door. He stared out at the dark like he listened to someone on the street. I checked the gate and found it unlatched. I know I locked it. My hands shook as I secured it again. I walked the yard with my phone light. Nothing. Re-hooks. Wait. I began noticing people watching when I walked Buddy. Faces at corners. A car that slowed. I started to look back more. Most times it was nothing, but my eyes caught the ghost of a pattern. The seller's posts on Marketplace moved fast and disappeared when someone asked about a chip. I told a friend. He said, "Return him." Another said, "Keep him and make the dog safe." I kept him. I could not imagine giving Buddy back to someone who might trade pets like boxes. Mr. Harlan, the man in the bulletin, was found wandering a park, confused. They said he asked about his dog. That image sticks in my head. An old man on a bench asking into the air for his pet. A reporter called about the chip. After that, I got messages from people who said the seller had other posts. Someone sent screenshots. The seller's posts moved around and removed replies fast. It felt like the same pattern we had heard about before. I felt small and angry and guilty all at once. I started small things to feel safe. I locked the door. I keep Buddy's papers in a drawer. I flash my phone light when he growls. I whisper the chip number, sometimes like a ward. Tiny rituals help. I breathe easier. The city feels different when you notice how easy it is to trade things online. The marketplace looks friendly, but there is a thin side where people profit off loss. The thought sits in my chest. At night, I sit with Buddy on my lap while he snores. He trusts me. I trace his ears and tell myself we did the right thing. But sometimes I see a car slow at the corner or a person staring from a shadow and my heart pounds. I lock the gate again and watch the windows. If she came back, the seller, what would I do? I do not know. I feel like I would fight to keep him. I would also feel like I'd bought something that belonged to a man who now has empty rooms. For now, I keep the papers and I check the chip registry once a week. I whisper that number when the house is quiet. It is small and useless maybe, but it helps. The internet can hide ugly things behind a smiling ad. You have to watch closely. That is the lesson Buddy gave me without even knowing it. We found a rusty trunk on Facebook Marketplace, and inside it were papers that pulled a cold case open again. My name is Martin Hale and I live in Columbus. I saw the ad late on a slow Sunday. The picture showed a dented metal trunk, one lock, dust. The seller said it came from his late mother's storage and he wanted cash. He wrote, "Estate sale," in the post. I messaged, because I like old things, and because the price was low. We put the trunk in my truck and the smell of rain followed us home. When I pried the lock, the lid creaked. Inside were yellowed letters, a small lockbox, and an envelope sealed with tape. The envelope had a hometown and a date. Inside were Polaroids, a torn license, and a birth certificate. The name did not match any record I knew. Listen, I posted one photo in the Marketplace thread, asking if anyone recognized the name. At first I expected nothing. Within 2 days, the post blew up. People replied about a decades-old abduction in the next county. Someone tagged a reporter. My phone buzzed and buzzed. I felt like I had dropped a pebble in a pond and watched the ripples run. The police called. Detectives came and took the papers. They said the items matched a missing person file in their cold case room. My hands shook handing things over. I slept badly. I spilled coffee. I kept thinking who moved the trunk and why someone would sell a locked box with legal papers. Interviews piled up. Detectives, a reporter, a cousin who said the name sounded familiar. Strangers asked for copies. The Historical Society found a faded flyer that matched a face in the Polaroids. The town started to buzz. I did dumb things. I left the lockbox on the table and a neighbor saw it. A detective told me to keep everything safe. My hands shook when they took it. Wait, the trunk had stamps from another state. The lockbox had a faint name scratched on it. The Polaroids showed a boy with a scar and a woman who looked like a flyer photo. Those small details made detectives push. One night a car idled outside my place. Footsteps stopped under the street lamp, then left. I did not sleep. Detectives reopened the file. I signed forms at the station late at night. Calls slowed but kept coming. Aftermath is messy. People ask for copies. I drove to the library and rifled through old papers. The Polaroids stayed in my head. I kept a small token from the trunk before I gave the rest to detectives. I hide it in a sock drawer and touch it when the house is quiet. People asked how I found it. I tell them I saw the Facebook ad and went to the estate sale. The seller seemed nervous, like he wanted cash and to be done. He said his mother kept boxes in storage for years. He said he did not look through all of them. After the police took items, strangers still knocked. A woman with a badge asked for a copy of a photo. A man from a genealogy group left a note. The reporter called for updates. Emails came asking for details I did not know. The town talked and I tried to picture the people in the Polaroids. At night I checked my own boxes. I opened papers and closed them fast. The house felt different. Detectives asked who might have had keys to storage. I drew a map on a napkin. It helped me think. Waiting is heavy. Answers move slow. The trunk was something I bought and it became a small engine that kept turning. I did not want that, but I kept looking. Sometimes I stand at the window and watch the storage street. The waiting is heavy. I think about the mother who stored the trunk. Maybe she wanted the papers gone. Maybe someone moved them on purpose. I do not know. I do not forget. The lock's creak plays in my mind. People still message me. The reporter still wants updates. I drive by the storage place sometimes and look. The trunk changed small parts of my life. I double-check locks now. I keep the sale receipt in a drawer. The object I kept lives under my socks. Sometimes I hold it and wish I had left the trunk alone. I wish someone would tell the whole truth, but stories do not end clean. Sometimes I wonder if the mother ever hoped someone would find them.